right, everyone. Hello, Holly King. Welcome to my podcast. This is Wild Kingdom Wellness. We will talk about everything well in this podcast. We will explore topics that include subject matters like spirituality, physical, mental, emotional health, and also the things you see going on in the world around you. So if you are ready to go on this Wild Kingdom Wellness ride with me, then make sure that you subscribe to this podcast. You also share this particular podcast and more with others. I will be exploring the realms that people are afraid to go into, and you will not want to miss these episodes. So, Holly King, Wild Kingdom Wellness, welcome to my journey. All right, everyone. Hello, Holly King. Welcome to my podcast. This is Wild Kingdom Wellness. Ladies and gentlemen, today is Friday, March, tricked you, March the 20th, 2026. The moon is in Aries, and the color of the day today, ladies and gentlemen, is purple. Mercury goes direct today at 3:33 p.m. And the sun, our solar god, the sun, will enter into the sun sign of Aries tonight at 10:46. Oh, actually, it's a.m. See, you got to really look at the details, ladies and gentlemen. So today, this morning, 10:46 a.m., the sun will enter into Aries, and we, ladies and gentlemen, will have entered into the Ostara Spring Equinox. It is International Astrology Day. And y'all, we got a lot we're going to talk about today on this podcast. So make sure you like, you subscribe, you follow, you share this podcast with someone, anyone out there who has even the slightest bit of concern about what's going on in the world around us. So let's get started. What do we want to talk about today? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I really do want to talk today about astrology. And since it is International Astrology Day, which I did not know that until I opened up my 2026 Witches Date Book by Llewellyn. Yes, Witches, Witches Date Book by Llewellyn. This is where, ladies and gentlemen, I get my astrological information from each and every day. It's just a little almanac calendar. Like, if you're on the video, it's a visual, right? I'm going to show you real quick my 2026 Witches Date Book, which is my calendar. Okay, so it's my desk calendar, ladies and gentlemen. But you can see right here, or you can hear right here, as I have the paper in front of me, the March 20th date, Friday, and all, when you're looking at this Witch's Almanac date book, you see all the different transitions of the moon, the sun. There is Mercury going direct today. It's so funny. It's at 3:33 p.m. today. But y'all, and oh, the color of the day. But y'all, listen, there's more to it than that. Understanding what could potentially be going on in the world around us, and reading astrology and looking at the moon and stars and where the planets are. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an art, okay? It's just something that I like to do. It is part of my career path. I do read people's natal charts for a living from time to time when people ask. That is something that I can offer to people. Generally, I will do it on Zoom or on somewhere on Facebook Messenger, things like that. But guys, there's a lot going on in the world right now. And if you have any at all, again, whatsoever, concern, curiosity, if you have any curiosity about what's going on in the world around us, when it comes to this war that we're in, or these wars, let me pluralize that for just a moment. These wars that we're in as humans, you're really going to want to listen to this podcast. So, okay. Today, the sun goes into the solar sign of Aries. The moon is in Aries as we speak. And for those of you all that do follow moon astrology, you understand that the moon goes through the phases of full and new, waxing, waning, first quarter, second quarter moon. If you follow the cycles of the moon every 28 to 29 days, then you know that the moon goes into the certain signs of the zodiac while she goes around and around the universe. Okay, so while the moon goes around and around us, y'all, for about 3 days, the moon will sit stationed in certain signs of the zodiac. So here's the thing I want you all to understand. When you look at the moon in Aries, the sun in Aries, the first day of spring, do they call it the vernal equinox? I think that's the term they use. All of these planets moving around us, the sun. If you think for 2 seconds this stuff does not affect us and how we humans down here on this tiny little planet we call Earth, live and breathe and do our work, right, as humans, if you think this stuff doesn't affect us to some degree, well, that's your right to believe that astrology is not important. But in my opinion, in my humble opinion, ladies and gentlemen, it's extremely important to what we're dealing with down here on planet Earth today, March the 20th, 2026. Okay. So what does it mean? What does all that mean? People are like, well, great, Holly, we get it. We can see the pattern. We can understand that, there probably is a little bit of validity. There's probably a little tiny, little drop of truth, because when truth is truth, it's truth. So even if there's just a subjective amount, just a tiny bit of truth to what we have going on in the astrology right now, when you look at the patterns of what's going on Earth or globe, it's pretty freaking intense. Like, I wanted to use the word scary, but as a practitioner of the healing arts, I'm trying to reroute the way that I speak, because I know as a spiritual practitioner that my words have excessive power, not just a little bit of power, not just a drop of power. My words have power. The Bible tells me so, and if you grew up like I did in the Pentecostal Zionist church, again, my experience prior, as someone who was a part of the mass 1990, early 2000s evangelical movement, then you know that what I'm saying is true and that our words have power. Okay. But when we fail to recognize that we are also living in a time to where power structures who have been put into place over the last 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 years, we've entered into a time and a season to where the power systems are now fighting amongst themselves, aka your global government. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening from wherever you're listening. I want you all to hear me when I say this. The global leadership, not the national leadership, the global leadership, in my humble opinion, knows when to strike and when to pull back. Okay, so does that mean, ladies and gentlemen, that Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu looked at the astrology and the season of astrology and said, well, let's go ahead and create a wartime, a warfare, physically and spiritually, by the way, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Let's go ahead and unleash the forces of nature on our quote unquote enemy. Okay, and again, air quotes here. Let's go ahead and unleash the forces because the universe supports us in doing so. Okay. And if you're like me and you're a magical person and you believe that there is a spiritual realm that is equal to our physical realm, and you look at the astrology and what's happening in today, like not even saying, well, today's times. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about today, March 20th, 2026. Do you not think that this particular invasion, feel like I'm talking about the body snatchers here, but this invasion into Iran is not ordained by the great collective consciousness? And when I look at astrology, I'm like, oh crap. I need to just sit back and receive the Holy Spirit download that I'm getting when I look at this stuff as an astrologer and go, yeah, somebody's playing with occult magic in our government. Huh. And I just go, huh. And to be perfectly honest, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you all who have been following me for quite some time, know that if you really listen to every single thing that I've said for the last 11 seconds, minutes, right, that you know there's an ounce of truth in what I'm saying. So let's talk about the sign of Aries right now. Since the sun is in Aries, well, we'll be here in a couple hours, hour and a half. The moon is in Aries. Saturn, the planet Saturn of law, karma, discipline, power structures, it's like your daddy that spanks you with a belt, that kind of planet, right? If you got whoopings like I did when I was a kid, I wasn't abused, but I got spankings. So a lot of you new age parents don't know what that is. And I don't recommend it. I'm not recommending corporal punishment on a child when they do bad things. But I also know that there were some things I didn't do because I knew the consequences was going to be an ass whooping with a belt. Okay. I grew up Gen X. So for those of you all watching on video, like, we got whoopings when we got caught smoking. We got whoopings when we lied. We got whoopings when we, our siblings fought and like ripped the curtains down off the wall. Like, we got whoopings. Okay. We got whoopings. Okay. So that's Saturn. This is Saturn for you all. It's in Aries. Again, the god of war, ruled by Mars, the planet that's next to us that Elon wants to go hang out on and play on. I don't want to go there. If I were Elon Musk, I would rather be trying to populate Venus, which looks a lot like Earth, kind of like an Atlantis. I would much rather go be a part of the goddess Aphrodite energy than I would to send rockets into space to a planet that represents warfare. If you all don't think some of this stuff is psychological, you sleeping, baby. Honey boo, you sleeping, okay? I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. You're sleeping. All right. So you have to understand that Aries is a masculine fire sign. Okay. It's a cardinal sign. So what does that mean? Aries, people born March 20th in the afternoon, 21st, because there's a variance there, which I'm not going to get into that right now. But if you were born, let's say March 20th in the night, 21st in the morning through April 19th, you're an Aries sun sign. Okay. So you're the firstborn sign of the zodiac. Okay. So leadership. Here we already have, fire energy, leadership, masculine energy. The quality is cardinal. You're like, I don't know what that means. Well, I want you to think, if you're in my area, go cards, right? I want you to think about a red cardinal bird. Okay, so I want you to think about with me the red bird, the cardinal that flies around, and is noticed, okay, is noticed when you have the first signs of spring. Because for us humans, us little peon humans down here on earth, we believe that like when we start to see the cardinals flying around, the birds, then we know, we're like, oh, thank God, winter's almost over. We like the robins too. Kind of like a Batman and Robin team. You start seeing those birds outside, you're like, oh, please, bring me back the heat. Bring me back the sun. Bring me back summer. Bring me back things that are growing, not dying, right? So that's the kind of energy we're in right now. But the issue is, mythologically speaking and astrologically speaking, we are entering into all of this Aries energy with, again, the sun, the moon, Saturn, which is your karma. So for those of you all who want more of the Epstein files, you need to stay tuned. You need to like and subscribe, because not everything has been exposed. We know this. We're not stupid. Us little independent podcasters, we're not stupid. We're back here watching you all decimate, destroy yourselves, okay? Decimate, is that a word? Anyway, sometimes I get tongue-tied, y'all. But we're back here like we're the tax-paying Gen X human being Americans working, get ready to go to work, pay our taxes. Can I say that again? Pay our taxes. Your paycheck. Although I don't think Donald Trump takes a paycheck. He didn't the first time, to my knowledge. But anyway, I don't know. You can fact check me on that. But whatever. So anyway, but like, I'm trying to get by. Paying for gas, trying not to pay $5 for a loaf of gluten-free bread. But now it's more like $6.99. Depends on if you go to Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Kroger, Walmart. Where are we doing our shopping as Americans, and beyond? Like, I'm just trying to survive here. But when I look at the astrology of today, and then I notice not only is the sun, the moon, Saturn, you got Chiron, which is the wounded warrior in your natal chart in Aries. And Chiron's been in Aries for a while, okay? A while. I'm not going to get into a deep astrology dive right now, but just understand Chiron is an asteroid that goes around our universe, our unisystem. That's a new word. Somebody made that up, right? A unisystem. We're in our unisystem. Chiron is an asteroid that goes around in your natal chart in astrology. It's your spiritual warrior. Okay, it's your wounded spiritual warrior. It's your trauma that you brought into this world spiritually, and it is a part of who you are as a spiritual creature. And when your Chiron has had enough of the bullshit going on in the world, your Chiron will typically show up in your chart right about, in my opinion, right about middle-aged, when you don't care anymore what people think about you. And so your Chiron, your wounded spiritual warrior in your natal chart, starts to step forward and act out like an actor on the stage, okay? And y'all, my Chiron in my natal chart, my personal natal chart, is in Aries, okay? Right now, that's happening in the universe, full-fledged circle, okay? Now, what else is in Aries today? We also have, I think that's it. So Sun, oh no, Neptune. Neptune is in Aries today and will be for a while. And y'all, if you know, you know. We just left Pisces yesterday. We just had a new moon a couple of days ago in Pisces, which is the end of the astrological cycle. And so Neptune is Pisces' natural ruler or archon in the astrology and in the zodiac. And so you just had an end of a cycle and a beginning of a new cycle. Not just with spring and our 365 natural American Gregorian calendar. I'm talking about the end of a serious spiritual cycle. Because the planets that are farthest away from us, ladies and gentlemen, have some of the greatest impact on our lives as a generation. And we need to be paying attention to what the fuck's going on. So, if you don't like the cussing, you don't have to listen. This is not for children, and this disclaimer is for you to realize I am going to speak up now with Mercury direct today. I am going to speak up now and continue to share my story and share my journey and not worry about the big black van coming to steal me away because I said something that pissed off the oligarchs. I still have here in America freedom of speech and religion up currently. Now, all of this Aries energy, guys, pay attention. I don't want you to live in fear because that's the first thing when people start working with astrology and working with the spiritual life force energy and the changes that happen in the world around you that you have absolutely almost no control over. Okay. Again, a little bit of truth still is truth, and an almost is a close call for things, right? You're like, I'm right there at realizing the game that's being played, the astrological monopoly that we're playing on this 4D chessboard of life. Okay. It's real. It's real. It's real. It's real to me. I live, eat, and breathe it. Like, it's my life. It's my experience. I have seen and watched the patterns of people and the universe long enough as a 53-year-old woman, as a grandma. I'm a grandma, y'all. I'm a grandma. I have watched the patterns of people long enough to step out of my comfort zone and go, I'm just going to say what I see going on in the world around me. And if somebody hears it, great. And if they don't, it wasn't meant to be. But Holly, you have got to stand up and speak your truth based on your own personal journey and experience as a human being on this planet. So I'm a double Scorpio. I'm ruled by Aries and Pluto. And I'm kind of pissed off a little bit about what I see going on in the world around me. But what I do know is the more angry I get and the more I live in fear from the fear mongering going on, the propaganda going on in the world around me, the more I start to implode, not explode. I implode mentally and emotionally and spiritually. I start to implode on the inside because I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, I see the pattern of nature. I see what's going on in the collective consciousness. I feel, as a water sign, I feel people's emotional energy. I feel the social anxiety going on in the world around me. As a minister, for God's sakes, of the healing arts, I'm sensing some big shit right now, okay? And I'm not going to live in fear of it. And I told my producer and my closest friends and my allies, who are like, there's 5. I have 5 true friends, maybe 6, okay, maybe 10, but who really supports you when the shit hits the fan? Who is really going to support you at the end of a cycle? Who? Ask yourself that. I made my list this morning, and I think there were 6 women on that list. And yes, they were women. Okay. But it's like, if we don't understand what's going on in the world around us, in the collective consciousness and in the bigger picture, then we are deceived from having access to knowledge that I know damn good and well our global leadership is using to divination, the craft, ladies and gentlemen. I know damn good and well they knew what was going on in the astrological scene. I mean, I learned that in the Pentecostal church that, people who are Old Testament believers, we'll just call them that, practice the Old Testament law. Those people They're like, you know, it's Ramadan or whatever. Like, they know when to go to war. And if you look at your Bible, ladies and gentlemen, because I am a certified Bible coach, by the way. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I have a paper. It says I'm certified to teach the Bible. Ladies and gentlemen, the Old Testament is full of repeated historical stories that says, well, God says now it's time to attack. Let's go. And the armies assemble and bing a bang a boom. You know, people like Bathsheba get taken off the roof, out of the bathhouse, and people like King David be like, let's kill her husband Uriah because I want to take her as my wife. Talk about coveting thy neighbor's wife. King David did that. Yeah, he's like, ooh, look at Bathsheba. She's sexy. She's on the roof. I see her through my telescope. And oh my God, I want to get her oop. And so let me kill her husband Uriah. Put him in the front lines because I want his wife. Now, I love me some King David. I also love King David because he was willing to humble himself and take off all his clothes and dance naked before the Lord. And go, I'm just a mere lowly man. So King David wasn't always a whoremonger or a war pig. There was once upon a time where King David was just a little boy tending to sheep, asking God to bless him. You know, and then he had to stand up against a giant, a Goliath, a Nephilim, by the way. Some of us still have Nephilim DNA inside our bodies, which I think is great. I'm not saying it's me. I'm just saying some of us do have an angelic view of the things going on in the world around us. Subscribe, like, and subscribe, right? But y'all, it's the same damn story over and over again, okay? And here we are, 2026, March the 20th, and we are at war with Iran, Persia, again. Here's the funny thing, y'all. If you go back and you look at the book of Esther, you remember the book of Esther, the queen that was Jewish, but she pretended like she wasn't Jewish and realized that her husband's advisor had wanted to have all the Jews annihilated. Y'all know that story? Go read the book of Esther. Go read the book of Esther. And she's like, now I'm the queen. He picked me as a queen. I'm Jewish. If he finds out I'm Jewish, he's either going to kill me too as the queen of Persia or I will save my people, right? And so fast forward, Hadassiah, she had to go, and her name was Hadassiah. I think I said that right. Hadassiah was her real name. Hadassiah had to go into the king's chambers uninvited and go, all right, I'm going to walk up to you, husband. Husband, I need you to see me because guess what? You are being ill-advised. Sound familiar? Ladies and gentlemen, Paula White, I'm calling you out. You are being ill-advised, Donald Trump, that you need to go in and annihilate a whole bunch of people. I don't know the number. I don't know. But just a human, another human. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not murder. I'm sorry, what? Stop it. Just stop it. Just fucking stop. All of you war pigs, stop it. Just stop it. Stop it. We know what's going on, okay? We know the propaganda. I've watched so many whistleblowing YouTube videos as a channel for the last 10 or 15 years, and not to mention being married to a wartime disabled veteran. I mean, I might have know something about what I'm talking about, and I don't care. Gen X don't care. We don't care what people think about us anymore. All we know to do is speak our truth, especially if you're here in America. So, what do we do with all this Aries energy? You start to honor it. That's a novel thought. Instead of fighting and killing each other, why don't you honor the positive side of what the sign of Aries means in the zodiac? Let's talk about it. What's the lucky day of the week? Tuesday. What's your lucky numbers? 1 and 9. What's Aries' magical birthstone? Diamond. What is the special color of Aries? Red. Also white, white, orange, and yellow. What cities does the sign of Aries represent? Florence, Naples, Marseilles. This is a lot of Italian energy here. Countries: England, Germany, Poland. Okay, so Aries rules, he is the archon of these areas of our planet. There's flowers that you could honor in the name of Aries, okay? Geranium, honeysuckle, sweet pea, trees, all thorn-bearing trees. I didn't realize trees had thorns. I only thought roses had thorns, and bushes had thorns. I know some bushes that's got some thorns. I do know some bushes that's thorny, okay? Anyway, if you know, you know, okay? But what metal? What metal are we ruling right now? Iron. The ironclad fist. It's so funny because you look at all these MAGA people with their fist up, or you look at all these non-MAGA people with their fist up. It's like, rule with an iron fist. You just ushered in Aries. Thank you very much. As an astrologer, I'm like, well, I'm just watching from behind the scenes, doing me, boo. What are the animals that rule the sign of Aries? The sheep and the ram. Oh, the sheep and the goat. The goat's actually Capricorn, but you get my point. Okay, we're trying to figure out who are the sheep in the wolves clothing going on right now in the world around us. I will let you list out for me who it is. Okay, you go ahead and comment below, like and subscribe, and you go on and you tell me who you think. Maybe you think it's you, Holly King. Oh, is it? Is it now? Is it now me? Am I the wolf in sheep's clothing? Or am I the David who's like, I got a big giant ahead of me. I got to figure out how to cast a crystal. I got to throw an amethyst at this dude's head so he will go away and leave me alone. Okay, that's how my spiritual brain works. That's how I think, okay? In the prayer space, in the space of spiritual intercession, as a practitioner of the healing arts with an ex-Zionist background. Y'all, just a side note, I'm thinking about becoming a Catholic. What do y'all think about that? I'm looking into it, right? Because I'm intuitive. Just for fun, right? But anyway, y'all, not to be sacrilegious or anything. Aries people need to understand, and Aries energy, you are susceptible to harm from fire and sharp objects. Blunt force trauma. Aries people are also prone to accidents involving high speed because it's a cardinal sign, right? Don't be driving fast today, y'all. Aries energy tends to get violent and dangerous in situations. So, the positive side of this is, ladies and gentlemen, that Aries energy it's all consuming, no doubt. It is creative. Because it's like, well, when you burn something down, what do? You have to rebuild it. Okay? And again, apply all this to the Gaza Strip, guys. Okay? Or wherever. Wherever we're fighting, Ukraine, I don't get it. I don't get it. Stop it. Zelensky, stop it. Putin, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. God damn it, stop it. God. We need to be courageous, ladies and gentlemen. We need to realize that we need positive leadership that not only will protect us, PPP, will not only protect us, but will provide for us ways that we can protect ourselves. Which is why we have the Second Amendment right. Just saying. I don't know what to say to you all other than I really hope, as I close out this initial Aries energy update for today, March the 20th, 2026, I really hope and pray you all that you get it. Like you start to understand the power of positive intention. But I also don't want you all to be duped into thinking that the powers that be have our best interest at heart, because I ain't feeling that in my heart. Okay, what I'm feeling in my heart is a lot of fucking anxiety and collective consciousness energy. Okay, because I channel Reiki or something like that. But it is my truth to speak my truth and to be courageous on these podcasts and on these videos and tell you all I love you. I'm always going to end this with I love you. You know, if you come charging at me in my door wanting me to denounce my belief systems, which are eclectic at this point. I'm very eclectic when it comes to my belief systems. But, you know, if you want to come shut me up, I guess, then, you know, good luck. Because I'm not going down quietly either. And if I got a microphone and an iPhone and some internet and I live in America, I'm going to keep posting these videos until somebody says, you know what? You're right, Holly. I'm going to intercede in prayer with you to stop the bullshit. The bullshit's coming next time when we go into Taurus, okay? That's the bullshit. We're really going to uncover some bullshit in the next 30 days. But for now, let's just charge forward with this Aries energy as the people, we the people, and start to go, we're going to live in harmony over here. And if we have to give our neighbor, you know, some eggs to hold them over, or we have to like walk for God's sakes instead of driving our car to the store. I'm lazy. I use Walmart delivery. I'm lazy, but I tip my drivers well. Okay, because I'm lazy. I'm lazy right now. Why am I lazy? Because I'm researching and I'm watching what's going on behind the scenes so I can take notes like the good little Akashic record taker I am. Metatron, Book of Life, Book of Lambs, Book of Life. I'm just watching it like a story at this point, guys. So you might want to follow along. So follow the yellow brick road. So I love you. Remember, live the dream. Share this podcast with someone that you think just might want to just laugh a little bit. It's like, that girl crazy. She's so crazy. She like Shanae on Living Color. She's so crazy. Yep, that's me. That's me. I grew up on some Living Color, y'all. Yes, I did. And what's funny, I'm gonna say this because I think it's funny. Inside of this white girl body is a black girl. Okay. We'll talk about why later. I love you all. Live the dream. We'll see you soon. All right. Take care. Like and subscribe. Bye. All right, guys, just a little disclaimer here by myself, Holly King. I am not a medical doctor, a licensed clinical therapist, or a mental health therapist. All information and coaching provided is for educational and supportive purposes only and should not be considered medical or psychological advice. Please do consult your physician, licensed therapist, or another qualified healthcare provider before making any changes related to your health or even before beginning any coaching. So what that means, guys, is just consult with your doctor when you decide to check out our podcast. We'll see you later, all right? Bye.